Greetings and welcome to our crochet connection. My name is April Diane, and today we will be working on the doublets stitch, which is found on page 69 of the Big Book of Crochet Stitches. And this book is written by Jean Leanhauser and Rita Wise, which you can find the link to this book on inside of this video. And by purchasing the book through the link, you actually help to benefit us to continue to make these videos. So thank you so much in advance for purchasing the book via our link, and you can check out some of the other things that we have on our Amazon store as well. And if you take a look here, I've done the pattern already for us, and this is how it looks. It's really nice, and I'd like for you to share with me what some of the things are that you would actually make with this pattern. This pattern starts with chain multiples of 2 plus 1, and if you read the beginning of this video, you know that the chain multiple means the first number, you do it however many multiples by that number you desire for the length of the piece. So any multiple of 2 would go well. I did 11 times 2, which gave me 22, and then I added 1, which gave me 23. So we started out this particular piece here with 23 chains as our foundation row. First, you want to do your slip knot, and to do a slip knot, I hang the free end, which is the end that's not connected to the skein or the ball of yarn, across my 2 fingers like so, in front of my less dominant hand, and I pinch it in place, and then I wrap the working end of yarn around my 2 fingers from behind them and bring them around in front, making an X in the front. Okay, and then I flip it over and I have 2 loops on, front loop and a back loop. Now the piece that I wrapped over is behind the original piece that I hung over the fingers. Then I take, with the mouth of my hook facing down, I place the mouth of my hook underneath the first loop and I grab a hold of the second loop. I pull the second loop underneath the first loop, turning my fingers back to face the palm side, lifting the hook up, and then I pull my fingers out while grabbing a hold of the free end and the working end of yarn, pulling those 2 down and pulling my hook up. And then it creates that knot in the center. Now, as you can see, depending on how far you pulled, your knot may be way away from your hook. To get it closer to your hook, you just want to separate the 2 pieces of yarn at the bottom of the knot, the free end and the working end of yarn. If you separate them by pulling them apart, the knot grows closer toward the hook, like so. Okay, and now you have on there what a slip knot. Many ways to do that. That's the way that works for me in terms of teaching wise. Now to do my chains, there are also many ways to do your chains. You can yarn over and lift up the bottom loop over the top loop and over the neck and the mouth of the hook, like so. Okay, creating a chain. That's 1. Yarning over and pulling up. There's a whole tutorial on this. I'm just giving a little brief warm up for us. And 3. Okay, another way you can do it is by holding both pieces, the work that you've done and the working end of yarn, in both hands, and wrap the hook around the yarn and pull down on the hook, pulling it through the loop that's on the hook. Okay, so that's one way. Another way to do it, like so. Okay, the important thing is to keep hold of your gauge of your the tension rather that you're generating with the yarn and the hook, so that the holes are not too tight and not too loose. Okay, and this later on you'll learn is known as your gauge, if you haven't already learned that. All right, and so I actually like doing mine this way, yarning over and pulling through. It just works best for me. Okay, and if you count, you can count by counting the V's on the hook, or what looks like a braid, a long braid. There's V's on one side, and then there are the back bumps on the other side, because as you know, the chain is made up of 3 parts: the front loop, which is the piece, the loop that's closest to you, the back loop, which is the piece that's furthest away from you up here, and then the back bump, which is on the back side of the chain. Okay, so we can count that by counting each of those V's. Here's 1, here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. Okay, so I made 23 chains for the foundation row of doublets. Okay, so starting from here, this doesn't count. The piece, the loop that's on the hook does not count. It's just how the hook and the yarn connect. So then the next one next to it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. This little piece, you want to make sure that your slip knot is kind of snug, because sometimes it'll look like it's actually a chain. It doesn't count as a chain. Okay, so you want to just snug it up a little bit so that you tighten that out. Now, to go into the instructions of doublets, row 1 says to single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each remaining chain. So that's pretty simple. All the way down, we're going to be single crocheting. Okay, so the second chain from the hook, this wouldn't be, remember this doesn't count, this little long piece here that you can change the length of it, that doesn't count. That's the hook and the yarn connecting. So here's number 1. Okay, the one that's right after that loop that's connecting the hook and the yarn, that's number 1. This would be number 2. Okay, so there's many insertion points that you can choose. We're gonna go right in the center here. Okay, and remember, I always put the back bump, well, not always, but I often put the back bump on there as well when I'm going in from the center. Okay, you can choose not to by just taking the back loop of the chain and keeping that part on. Okay, so I'll explain a little bit more. So the chain, as you know, has a front loop and a back loop. If you go in from the front, sometimes you get just the back loop on. And sometimes you go in from the front closer to the front loop side, and it can cause you to get the back loop and the back bump on there. You see, it looks like there are 3 loops on there. It's the front loop and the back bump that's on there. Another way to go into it, another insertion point, is just to put the back bump on there by flipping your entire chain over like so. And now you have just the back bump on there. I like doing it that way too. Okay, so actually I'm going to use the back bump side going forward. And how I use the back bump, sometimes you have to fold the chain a little bit, and then the back bump will protrude out a little bit. Okay, so that's this is the first of 22 single crochets that we will make for this row. Okay, so you're just going to insert, yarn over, pull out of the insertion point, yarn over, and pull through. Whichever insertion point you decided, whether you decided to go in from the front or from the back, it's the same. You insert the hook into the desired insertion point, and sometimes the back bump can be really tricky to insert into. Okay, you insert, yarn over, take it out of the insertion point, which means take that middle piece off, and then yarn over and pull through 2. And we go again, insert all the way down. And do you know why we'll only expect, because we started out with 23 chains, at the end we will only have 22. Why is that? You guessed it, because we skipped the first chain and we went into the second chain from the hook, as according to the instructions. Okay, so that's common practice. Most of the stitches will skip the first chain at least. Some of them skip more, you know, but generally speaking, I've noticed that the first chain is always skipped. Okay, so we're inserting, yarning over, and pulling through 2. We're inserting, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2. Inserting it into our insertion point, which for me is my back bump. Yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2. Insert, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2. Insert, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2. Insert, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2. Insert, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2. And all the way down till you get to the very last insertion point. Okay, which is the last chain on your hook. I love this pattern because it's easy, number one, and it only has 3 rows, and it only has 1 row that you repeat, which is row number 3. So that's pretty cool about this pattern. Okay, and so now I made it all the way to the end here. I have this little tail hanging out, which it's nice to leave like a 4-inch tail when you're working on something so that you don't, it doesn't come out real easy. You know, the knot doesn't come out real easy, or the slip knot. All right, so now you have your row number 1. We're going to chain 3. Okay, it says chain 3. 1, remember the chaining, 2, and 3. And then it says to turn. The chain 3 counts as a double crochet throughout according to the text. Okay? And now we will proceed to row 2. Row 2 says to do 2 double crochets in the next single crochet. Okay, so 2 double crochets in the next single crochet. That would be not the beginning single crochet, okay? Because the pattern said in row 2 that this chain 3 counts as a double crochet throughout. Okay, so this chain 3 is considered to be coming out of this first single crochet space, the beginning stitch. Okay, there's a beginning stitch always, and if the chains count, then it means that they're coming out of the beginning stitch. So we're going to do 2 double crochets in the next single crochet, so that would be here. So we're skipping this hole, okay, which is the first one, and we're going right to here. Okay, and we're going to do 2 double crochets right into this space. 1, and 2. Okay, 2 double crochets in the next single crochet, and then we're going to chain 1. Okay, and then it says to skip the next stitch and do 2 double crochets in the next single crochet. So we're going to skip this next hole, which would be where the next stitch, the insertion point for the next single crochet. So here's the V, the head of the stitch, and then underneath it is the hole. That would be the insertion point. We're skipping that next insertion point and we're going right to the next insertion point, okay, with a double crochet. So we yarn over first for double crochet, we insert it into the insertion point, and then we yarn over and we take it out of the insertion point, pulling that yarn over right on through with us. Okay, leaving us with 3 loops on. And then we're yarning over and pulling through 2, and then yarning over and pulling through 2. And we're going to do that again. We're going to yarn over, we're going to go inside the insertion point here, the same one, because we're doing 2 in this same space, this same stitch, yarning over and pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over and pulling through 2. Okay? So to recap, we skipped the beginning stitch, did 2 double crochets in the next single crochet, chained 1, did skipped a stitch, and did 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And now it says to repeat from the star across to the last 2 single crochets. So our first repeat step for this pattern and this row is chain 1. The second step in the repeat is to skip the next single crochet. So here, the next insertion point, and you can see all of the insertion points, all those holes are insertion points, okay? So we're skipping the next insertion point and we're going into the next with 2 double crochets. So we yarn over first for a double, okay? Going here, skipping here, going here, inserting it, yarning over, pulling it out of the insertion point, 3 loops on, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, okay? And then we're going again, yarning over, inserting it into the insertion point. It's the same stitch, yarning over, pulling it through, yarning over, pulling it through 2, yarning over, pulling it through 2. So there are again 2 double crochets in the same stitch, the same insertion point. I'm being very particular to say stitch because there's a big difference between a stitch and a space, okay? And now we do it again, all the way down until we get to the last 2 single crochets, okay? So chain 1, skip this stitch, insert into the next insertion point right here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and again, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, okay? Chain 1, prepare for my double with the yarn over, skip the next stitch, insert into the next, right here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, same stitch where I just did the last double, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, prepare, yarn over, skip this space, skip this stitch, I keep wanting to say space, skip this stitch, inserting it here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, skip the next stitch, going into this stitch, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert, same stitch, and double crochet there as well, and chain 1, and prepare, and skip this stitch, and going into here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and chain 1 and prepare. Skip the next stitch going into here, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and once again same stitch, insert, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2, and chain 1 in between them all. Okay, and now we are skipping this one, right, and we're going into this one. Well, we're actually down to our very last 2 single crochets, and so it said to repeat the pattern until you get down to the very last 2 single crochets, and it says skip the next single crochet and double crochet in the last single crochet and chain 3. Okay, so we're gonna go to we actually have one more, so we have we're actually down to, so we're here at the last 4. This is gonna be the end of our repeat. Okay, so we're skipping this one and we're going into here. Okay, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and chain 1. Okay, and then now here are the last 2 single crochets. So I want you to be mindful, because the last 2, the very last single crochet, it kind of lays down. It's not as upright as the others, so it can be easily mistaken it could easily be mistaken for the side of this second to last single crochet, but it is an actual stitch here. Okay, so we're skipping the last we're skipping the next one according to the pattern. It says to the last 2, so we're at the last 2 single crochets. We're skipping the next one and we're doing a double crochet in the very last single crochet. Okay, so 1 double crochet in the very last single crochet. So I'm putting the V on the hook. All right, so let's make sure that you can see that. So here are the last 2. It's kind of rounded, if you will. You see? Okay, so this is my last one right here. Not here, but here. Okay, so you're gonna go right into here, and you're gonna yarn over and you're gonna pull through, and you're gonna yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, and then you're gonna chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to turn. Okay, so we ended how we started out. We started out with 1 here, and we have 1 here again. Okay, all right, now we're prepared to start row 3. Row 3 says that we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet. Okay, and the next double crochet is here. Okay, this counts, so it's not here, right? This counts as an actual stitch. So we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet. So here's the next double crochet. We're going right into here, on top of it, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through 2. It actually says do 2 of them there. Okay, so we're gonna go right into here twice. Okay. Okay, so we double crocheted in the top of that twice. Then it says skip the next double crochet, so this one. And then it says double crochet in the next double crochet. So right into here. So right here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and then it says repeat across until and skip the last double crochet. So the first repeat starts with a skipping the next double crochet. So we're always skipping the second double crochet on this row. Okay, and we're going into the next one. We're skipping the next double crochet, we're skipping that chain space that we did, we're skipping all of that, and we're just going straight over. Okay, and we're doing it again. Right here, we're skipping this double crochet, we're going into this one. Real simple, and we're doing it with two double crochets in the top of the first double crochet from the previous row, which was really the last, but now it's the first. Okay, so here, right here, all the way down, skipping this one, going into here. Twice. Skipping here, going into here. And it says we're doing this all the way down until we get to the last double crochet. Little squeaky action happening with my yarn and my hook. Happens with acrylic yarn a lot of times. Okay, and I'm gonna do 2 here. And that's my last double. And here's my turning chain. It says to skip this last double and to double crochet in the top of the turning chain. Remember with the turning chain that we did, the chain 3 that we did to start the row, to actually prepare for this row. So we're gonna double crochet right into the top of that. And so as you can see, if you count from the bottom, it's 1, 2, and 3 chains. You wanna go into this top chain here, putting both the front loop and the back loop of the chain on. Okay, and double crocheting right into there. All right, and then we chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we turn, and we repeat that all the way through, and that's it. That's what doublets is about. Yeah, it's pretty simple. So we repeat row 3 for the entire pattern. So remember, row 3, we start out with, we do a 2 double crochets in the next double crochet, right? So we would go right into here. This is the next double crochet. You do it twice. And then you skip the next one and go into the next, all the way down. Okay, and that completes our tutorial for doublets. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I also want to see what you make with doublets. It comes out really, really pretty, especially with using like softer yarns, because this is a softer yarn. So you see, it's really nice. You could do so many different things with it, but I don't want to tell you what I do. I want to see what you would do. with it. So there's the different variations. It's a nice simple pattern. It's a great way to practice double crochet as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, and happy crafting.